Hello, welcome to Clarity Design. We're in Adobe After Effects CS 5.5. I'm just running a quick tutorial to tell you how to use effects and presets, which you'll find over at the right hand side of your screen if you got your window set up as it is when you first open After Effects. If you haven't and you need to find effects and presets, the way to do that is to go up to Window, and you can either reset the workspace to standard, which is there, or you could just start up the preset with effects and presets and you'll find it. When you first start up effects and presets, it will actually open up this effects control panel as well. So I'll just close that off for now. Let me just explain what I've done here so that you can see how I've set up this scene. It's fairly simple. I've got a 4-view mode on at the moment. I'll switch that off in a second. I've got a light here with a light layer locked. Let's just select that, and you can see how I've angled that so it's pointing towards this orange, deep orange plane, and that plane has been made 3D so that it's affected by the light. That's really important, otherwise the light won't affect it. So that's what I've done to get that nice fade across the page there, and then I wrote this text fade, and that's what I'm going to be playing around with the animation. Now on that that light, I've just animated the intensity of the light over the first second of the animation, so second and a half, to bring in that light and to bring up the transition. So let's make our word do something then using an effect. The first effect I'm going to use is a Gaussian blur, which obviously I've been playing around with. So just get rid of that from there. I'll go to that in a second. With the layer selected now, before I do anything else, you'll notice here that I've hidden, I've made them shy. I've made these two layers shy. So if I click on this, it's going to get rid of them so you can't see them anymore. It's going to clarify what I'm doing down here. It's going to clean that up for me. Really useful little tool when you're working with a few layers and you don't want to accidentally select the wrong bit in the wrong layer, which is quite easy to do. So fades here. At the moment you can see that if I interrogate that layer, I've got text and transform, and I can go and play with the transform controls as usual, and obviously you've got the text controls there as well that you can play with. I'm not interested in that. What I'm going to go do is go and find a blur, and in this case I'm going to go effects presets. I'm going to look down here in blur, and I'll apply a very simple Gaussian blur which allows it to blur out. There's all sorts of different kinds of blurs you can do, and different ways you can play around with things. You know, the lens blur, fast blur, you know, there's some really good stuff there so you can play around them. Now to apply an effect, it's dead easy. The easiest thing to do actually is just to drag it out and drop it on top of that layer that you're interested in. And as soon as I did that, you notice the effects tab opened down here, and it's also opened this control panel that we were looking at up here. Some people like to animate using this because it's away from the layers, and some people like to use it down here and do the keyframing down here in their layers panel. I suppose the advantage of doing it down here is that you're looking at directly under the layer. The advantage of doing it here is it will only display there if you've got the object selected. So let's go for this and see what happens. So you should see that now I'm towards the end of the animation of the light coming on, and I actually want it to be nice and crisp as it is now with a 0 amount of blurriness. So I'm going to add a keyframe straight away by clicking on this this stopwatch, and that's added a keyframe there. Let me switch back to this view. This is the view you'd normally have. If you want to switch on that graph, you can switch it on there. It allows you to see what's going on, and we'll do that in a minute or two. And down here, then I'm going to move it back in time, so when everything's faded out, and you can see the fade is still visible. It's kind of a dark browny orange colour. It's not black. And I'm going to just increase that till about 80 or 90, maybe 100. So it's really blurred out. Actually, it stops you being able to see it at all, but it's still there. It automatically records a new keyframe for you. Okay, it automatically records a new keyframe for you on that channel. So there the two are. And if I scoot through the animation, you can see that that fades in quite nice and crisply. Let's just have a look at that. It won't be playing at full speed, but you'll get the general idea. So you can see how nice that transition is. Very simple, nice transition generated through that fill effect. Now let's just switch back to this this graph. You can see what's happening here. A nice even line between the two, very straight line. If we change that, we can actually change the quality of the animation quite a lot. So I can actually just right click on that keyframe, and I can go, I'm actually going to, let's just ease in. Oh, no, sorry. There we go, ease out. And this one is ease in. You could use easy ease. That does both ways. But obviously we know only need it one way at the moment. So that's going to change the pattern of the animation a little bit. Let's just, sorry, missed that. Pick up that handle, and I'm just going to change the pattern of that animation so it becomes quite dramatically in focus, and then that slows down again a little bit towards the end. And let's see what that looks like now. So just change the weighting of that animation, and if you're going to get really good at After Effects, if you want to play around with it, then being able to interrogate your keyframes and having that extra control over what the animation looks like is quite important. I'm going to close that up again now. Let's just apply one more effect so you see what's happening. I'm going to move to the end. I tried out a couple of these before. One thing I want to show you is that, if you want to do something but you're not entirely sure what was the name of that effect, you can actually type in keywords here and it will find anything with that name in it. Do be aware that it's American, so if you're typing colour, you just need the one O, not OU. And then you can go and have a look at some of these things down here. There's actually quite a few different things. You can see specific ones for text that you can play around with, channels, color correction. I'm going to go with this Colorama effect and see what happens there. So just dragging it over, let go, it's added it in here, and you can see it's actually made quite a startling change to my word there. Let's just you can see how that's really bad for me now. I don't like that at all. But what I do like is when it's in focus. I actually quite like that. So keeping that, let's switch that on with a blend mode. So so this blend with original, we'll switch that keyframe on there, and that's putting a 0 point. Let me just switch back to here, so we can see down here it's this channel here that we're working with, and I'll move it back in time, and I actually want to blend that 100% with the original so that we can't see it, and we'll play that through, see what it looks like. No, it's coming in too fast, you see. That's really bad now, it's coming in too fast. In fact, what I want to do is leave it to about here before that changes. So I'm actually going to reduce that down to, or reduce that up to 100% there, so that the change in colour only happens at the very end. And that's alright, but let's just extend this now. I can move keyframes by clicking on them, dragging them out, so that that's not actually coming into full colour till after the light has settled. Just move that on a little bit further, and I can go back to my graph here, and I can ease that again. I can ease that out and ease it in. Just missing that point. Cancel. There we go. So I can ease that. I think it was ease out, wasn't it? Yeah. I can ease that out and the other one in. Ooh. Control Z. If you make a mistake like that, it's always good to go back. Nope. Okay, I'm going to leave that alone for now. Just for this, I'll play around with it later. Hopefully that's pretty good now. So all our colours are working nicely together. Let's see what happens here. Click play, fades in, changes colour, comes through. Okay, excellent. Quite a nice little effect. And we know how to apply effects and how to control keyframes. That's really important. So those two things should really get you going, and you can start building up some titles of your own. Enjoy.